We recording. All right, we're gonna be watching this Seth the Programmer video that apparently is pretty bad. It's Goku versus Naruto versus Ichigo versus Luffy, and apparently he's gonna be. What did you say, Practical? He's gonna be scaling like. How is he?
I was just gonna say, wait till you see part one Naruto scaling. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, so apparently I guess he's doing this in like uh throughout their series. Sorry for like if y'all hear that motorcycle in the background, but all right. Without any further ado, let's watch this. I've heard this is pretty bad, but we'll see how bad it is. We'll see. Are they wanked? Are they downplayed? I don't know. So let's see.
Maki, Ichigo Kurosaki, and Monkey D. Luffy, the big three of the battle shonen genre that have a rivalry in everything from their influence to even the versus battle medium, being pretty much the heaviest debated characters outside of Son Goku, who almost birthed the entire genre period. For this video, we're going to be doing a
Yeah,
two-parter. In this first part, we're going to be comparing these four
two-parter.
in their first parts up to about chapter 220 for each, as that's where I'm in
Okay.
One Piece, to be fair, at the moment. Also go over many other examples of where each would stack up in each other's verse at their respective powers, so don't worry if you think one character stomps the rest here. We will be comparing them for a ton of different moments throughout the original 220s,
Oh
and there
boy,
will be a lot to learn and enjoy in this video, so do sit back and
this is
enjoy and learn
fairly
some
unfair
Before we
for a
begin
few
the
of
video,
these.
I will tell you about today's sponsor, Raid.
You really tried it. Nah, Buckaroo. You really tried it. Hell no. Alright, let's start.
Outlier among the big three, being the only one not in it, always lumped in. He's also definitely the least complicated by far to explain, so let's just get him out of the way. I'll go into more detail about him a bit later, but around chapter 220 of Dragon Ball is technically in the Saiyan saga,
Alright,
most
there.
specifically when Goku is coming back from King Kai's to face the Saiyans in Dragon Ball Z. But to stay with the theme of the video, we'll be bumping Goku back to chapter 194, or the end of the 23rd Budokai arc. I'll go over his Saiyan Saga strength a bit later as well for those irked by this.
Bruh.
The easiest
I don't know why there's just people. I don't know why there's so many people on motorcycles outside right now. It's a freaking Thursday. It's not even Friday, dude. I don't know.
way to scale Goku in his fight with Jr. or Piccolo Jr.
Well, you're in
is to
biker
just use the
territory, you mean,
Daizenshuu statement
probably.
of Sun's Super Kamehameha possessing the power to shatter the moon. In V-Jump, this Goku actually possesses a power level of 910, and using this technique, which many people don't know, and not only does Junior actually tank an attack that can shatter the moon, but he does this while arguably still weighted. Even the likes of all the fighters at the tournament, if there were 100 of them, alongside Kami, couldn't take Piccolo Jr. when he is at peak exhaustion. And this is Junior that says this, however, Master Roshi actually agrees with Piccolo's statement. Yet Goku, while completely crippled and with a massive hole in his torso, can defeat Junior with just a headbutt. Those fighters earlier did consist of Roshi, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, and alongside Kami. Roshi being confirmed multiple times, even being shown to be able to vaporize the moon, with Kami being able to recreate the moon using Shenron, a being that can't output more power than his creator. Yet Goku's headbutt, while completely crippled, is the only thing that can stop Junior at all. Kami also loses sight of Goku fighting Junior completely and can't even see them, and this is interesting as Popo, Kami's attendant, who is also weaker than Kami at this point, wants Goku to move faster than lightning while being calm of heart. And in the anime, this is literally shown with Goku having to wear a crown that attracts lightning to him while he trains. However, it gets worse when you realize that even during much earlier arcs, such as the Red Ribbon Army, Goku faces the Battle Jacket. The Battle Jacket is a device that is capable of what the Daizenshuu describes as shooting beam guns and or lasers, with many thinking beam guns are at the speed of light, with laser guns almost usually always being at the speed of light as well. In Dragon Ball Forever, another Dragon Ball guide, it actually says that the Battle Jacket straight up just shoots lasers instead of beam guns. Piccolo, also while weighted and still probably weaker than Raditz, blows up the moon in a matter of seconds, with it taking light about 1.2 seconds to reach the moon, and with Roshi also destroying the moon with a power level less than 180, or less than 260 max if you remember Roshi can't beat Ken Piccolo no matter what. And this 23rd Budokai Goku can hit a full-on 910 with a Super Kamehameha, making 23rd Budokai Goku at least able to shatter the moon and move faster than lightning, with higher interpretations allowing him to blow up the moon many times over and move even faster than light speed, possibly by multiple times depending on who you ask.
I don't know why he didn't just say planetary, bro. Like, there's calcs for this Piccolo feat to be planetary. Like,
Yeah.
and if you're saying Roshi vaporized the moon, and in like the time frame that's given, like, come on, bro. Like, I
Again,
definitely should be like getting really good into Moon, and then like you have
didn't King
Goku being multiple times strong. You're like, you know,
didn't
like,
could blow up the moon as well?
who?
Didn't King Piccolo also say he could blow up the moon?
I don't remember if King Piccolo said that, but he said he could destroy the world. So I'm like, I don't know why you're not mentioning that. But
Well,
maybe, oof, like look at these sections. Oh, look at Luffy's section all the way at the end, the shortest. But okay, well, let's see.
That's a pretty hard power to beat by 220 chapters of a battle shown, but it's not impossible. Once again, even if it isn't possible for certain characters, I'll list where I think they do actually stack up to each other in their own series, so do enjoy. We'll go over Naruto next, since he is the next easiest to explain, but you'll start to see where it gets a bit more complicated. Naruto, by chapter 220, is directly in Sasuke's flashback of his brother Itachi, and during this first clash of Naruto and Sasuke at the Final Valley, the last part of part 1 of Naruto,
Oh
by the
yeah.
way, Naruto is a
Oh,
little
hold on. Let's see that again.
220
Hold
is
on.
directly in Sasuke's
Oh,
flashback of his brother Itachi, and during this first clash of Naruto and Sasuke at the Final Valley, the
oh,
last part of part
this man
1 of
getting
Naruto,
the
by the way,
work. Oh,
Naruto has a
yeah.
lot of avenues of scaling here to go over, and I'd actually recommend my video on Naruto and Sasuke versus Gon and Killua from Hunter x Hunter if you want an even more in-depth breakdown. We can also go over some potential highballs for Naruto that might be interesting as well that video doesn't have. The most obvious forms of scaling of part 1 Naruto are him scaling way above base Sasuke's fireball jutsu from the start of the series during the Bell test, which vaporizes a crater in an attempt to damage Kakashi, and the older Naruto databooks actually confirm that Sasuke's fireball jutsu works via vaporization. It actually vaporizes what it touches, and these vapor
Am I the one noticing like these inconsistencies with the audio? Just me? Like
uh,
getting louder and like, who? What the fuck is my luck today? What are people doing outside? Bruh, are
come on.
people cutting grass? Hold up, bro. You know what? Hold up. I'm changing rooms. Hold up. Hold up. I'm doing this for y'all's sake, people that are watching this. So y'all are sitting through it, motherfuckers. All right. I'm changing rooms, bro. I don't know why everybody suddenly wants to be a freaking pro. Um, who drives motor? I feel dumb, dude. Who would drive a motorcycle professionally, dude? Is there a
Bikers,
sport? Is there
bikers,
bikers?
like
I'm like no, but I mean like a professional, like a professional. Are they professional bikers?
I can't really say bikers aren't a professional on a motorcycle. We're a professional criminal.
All right, so we move rooms. So let's see. Let's
Rising
hear.
fireballs slam right into Orochimaru in the Forest of Death, Gaara in his pseudo Jinchuriki form, and in this case, the ground, which has been calculated to being around 77 billion joules in terms of energy, or enough energy to level a city block concentrated into one tiny area. And there are more calcs like this, such as Naruto stopping a massive summoning Orochimaru snake, Choji and Jorobo's Titanic Clash, and so much more. But the obvious line of scaling for Naruto to make him even relevant here is his much higher interpretation of his KM0 or QB Mode 0 enraged state against Haku, or his ultimate
But yeah, like I was saying, are you noticing like stuff getting randomly louder and like?
Yeah, no, that was just a video.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying y'all noticed that, right? That's not just me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, I watched it first time around as well. Like Steph's shit is super inconsistent. I
Yeah,
wonder if
bro.
he
The decrease in the SEPTA programmer um video quality has been apparent already. That's crazy. But we'll move on.
state against Sasuke in the Final Valley. Naruto is a character who has a ton of chakra, even more chakra than his sensei Kakashi Hatake, and pretty much anybody Neji Hyuga has ever seen with his Byakugan, which can assess chakra levels. The only problem Naruto has is his ability to actually use and access this huge chakra arsenal accurately to amplify his abilities and jutsu, and that's why when he is protecting those close to him or becomes truly motivated, he becomes absurdly powerful and gets that main character kind of vibe compared to his normal goofy and even jokably weak self. Compare him making a few clones against Zabuza to making 1,000 against Mizuki, even comparing the toads he can summon, a tadpole compared to a mountain-sized Gamabunta. This is important because Zabuza thinks that even if he is taken out by Kakashi or someone else, that Haku will still be too much for them, and he is saying that Haku is much more skilled than he is, and in this case, and I've had this argument a few times, there is definitely ways to debate about this. Haku, in my opinion, and a few others I talked to, is an overall stronger combatant than Zabuza with his ice mirrors, and this is actually demonstrated multiple times when Haku not only blitzes Sharingan Kakashi with his lightning blade, which is an amped level of Kakashi's speed, making him clearly faster than Zabuza and more perceptive. He also can hold Kakashi to him while basically half dead, which wouldn't really make any sense if he is like 1/10,000th of Kakashi's power or something. When he has Edo Tensei later, he can even react and block kicks from Might Guy and Rock Lee at the same time, despite being more than likely nerfed, and Guy being Kakashi's overall rival. Even the power Naruto displays to defeat Haku is actually too much to be Kakashi in Zabuza's eyes, and it's clearly an indicator of Naruto's hidden demons that he will be using to face some top tiers in the verse later in the series. This level that allows Naruto to hit this Zabuza Part 1 Kakashi and more than likely Kabuto level combatant are important as the scaling chain for them gets really absurd. Remember that Kabuto could swap hands with base Tsunade to start off with, albeit he was at a losing end. But this amp Naruto can then summon Gamabunta. Gamabunta, who is able to face down against Manda, a Sage Snake, who Kabuto is actually sort of scared of and worries for Orochimaru's safety in his current condition with Manda around. And considering Jiraiya and Orochimaru in the data books are stated to be, and were pretty much shown overall equals or rivals in Part 1, it's fair to say that when they have a pretty pitched battle in the Sannin Showdown a little bit later, they are probably nerfed to a pretty similar degree, with Jiraiya saying in the anime at least, which is the only indicator of the actual number we actually have, that the Poison Tsunade nerfed his powers with brought him to about 30% of his overall ability. If Gamabunta and Manda are over 30% of a Sannin in base and can face down against the one-tailed Bijou, he reaches an astronomically high level of power, where Sannin, like Orochimaru even back in the day, were recruited into the Akatsuki, a band of shinobi meant to be able to fight and take down Jinchuriki and Bijou, or Tailed Beast. Bijou being able to output attacks that can level anything from Mount.
Hold up, 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 hold up. Is this motherfucker trying to scale this man to multi-cons in part one? Wait, no, wait, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. You know, hold on, let me let him, hold on, let me let him, hold up, hold up, hold up.
Hold on,
Islands to
you
even
have
Wait,
to
shut
be
up,
in.
shut up, shut up. I'm
attacks that
gonna
can
let him
level
talk.
anything from mountains, islands, to even sometimes continents on the extreme, and depending on who you get to calc certain things they do. Gamabunta even being a fraction of any of that is quite an insane amount of power jump for Naruto to have in his arsenal, especially in Part 1, but it can get quite higher. Remember in the data books and so much more that the Nine Tails is an entity that resides in Naruto that can then turn the world to ash, and that's important as if you believe the Nine Tails is even a moderate fraction of the power or chakra supply of, say, Kaguya or the Ten Tails, it may somewhat apply to Naruto. And this is going to be kind of a weird train of thought, so stay with me on this. Take, for instance, those that think Kaguya's realms are infinite.
There, sir, hold,
He's
hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Okay, so
You're hearing this right, Noons.
part
He,
one, Naruto Uzumaki. Part one, Naruto Uzumaki. Continental Mountain.
possibly Universo going by this.
Oh, brother. Don't, oh my, don't ever let this man. Oh,
Time spaces or
Don't
throughout
ever
many
let this man crush.
universes that she can nuke out of.
it's burnt, bro. It's burnt. What? He He not.
existence using her expansive truth-seeking orb. If the Ninetales is even an utter fraction or piece of a being who can nuke universal time spaces that may or may not be infinite in size, then Naruto even getting almost any amount of power from the Ninetales would be so utterly insane and unquantifiable, I don't even want to actually say what it might be out loud. Maybe that's
We know why you don't want to say it. We know you don't want people to get the like the clip and just be like, nope, nobody ever listened to Seth again. But
like Urashiki got a little shook in that Boruto filler, eh? But seriously, wank aside, as that is wanking. Some people actually, unironically believe that, by the way. That's about what you could possibly wank Naruto to be in Part 1, while Giga Ant and just taking everything to the extreme. It seems normally Part 1 Naruto, in a more grounded interpretation, would fit around the 21st Budokai of Dragon Ball to maybe the Red Ribbon Army eras, with him being seriously outmatched by around the 22nd Budokai. And in terms of speed, Naruto scales to Haku while enraged, although Haku is actually still faster than even enraged Naruto, with Haku being stated to be able to move at light speed with his ice mirrors, and he scales far above characters who can react to sound waves like Tamari did versus Tuyuya, and probably scales above lightning to probably many times over if you think while enraged he should be able to take down the likes of a much younger Kakashi who did just that to get the lightning cutter name to begin with. Even scaling to a 30% Sanji and Orochimaru.
Real quick. I'll be back quick.
all right, while Prideful's out, let's let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit, bro. Our boy Zabuza, our boy Zabuza, he is not fighting Ibiji. Our boy Zabuza, it, it's not happening, bro. It's not happening, bro. Like, uh,
Using to fake
yo, bro, yo, bro. Oh my. Oh yeah, bro. The fact that this man showed the 10. Also, I don't know why you use this statement. Like, I don't know why you use this one instead of the freaking one that says the Ninetales can turn the world to ash. Like, oh my god. Also, this man Naruto definitely doesn't scale to like Haku's mirrors. Um, he definitely doesn't scale to that man's mirrors. That man's mirrors were literally blitzing him. And then Naruto does an omnidirectional attack and then just breaks it. Like, what is this, bro? Like, and I'm pretty sure it's also stated that Haku wasn't going at full power. Um, uh, Let me just read this one that it says, "It's a technique wrapped up in many mysteries. Only one thing is clear. It said that no method in existence can defeat this technique." Hold up, bro. That's a crazy statement, bro. That's a crazy statement, bro. It is said that no method in existence can escape this technique. That's a crazy statement, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You could do things with this statement, which are silly, but you could do things with that statement. It is said that no method in existence can defeat this technique. In an instant, multiple mirrors are created around the enemy, reflecting menacing Haku. For Haku, it's possible to move between the mirrors at the speed of light. It's impossible to see attacks sent out from this literal light speed movement. For the opponent, nothing is left but to wait in amazement. Every single ice mirror shows Haku's reflection. Under these circumstances, one could say it's impossible to see all of Haku's attack. The second is card in the pro. Okay. Uh, In Haku's Phantom World, okay.
light speed with his ice mirrors, and he scales far above characters who can react to sound waves like Tamari did versus
Especially since it's like, hold on, I'm trying to remember what base guy does.
I'm
Cause
back.
okay, but since he brought this up, like literally in his own video, right? He brought up how Haku is freaking blocking attacks from Lee and freaking like
if he is like
Base
one
guy.
ten
and Guy.
thousandth of Kakashi's power or
Hold up,
something. When he has Edo
let me show
Tensei
the
later,
scene. Like,
he can even
boom.
react and block kicks from
So
Mike.
I'm like, if you're
No,
bringing that up, like,
dude, base guy scales above part one Itachi. Let's
does
ship
he?
that for sure. I'm pretty sure Itachi is stronger in Shippuden than he is in part one. And like guy Itachi straight up says to Kisame, "Don't underestimate Guy. He will fold you." Pretty much.
Oh yeah, if he's a like I'm talking about base guy right here. Like
No, base guy too. He's referencing base guy. And he
shouldn't he
said,
know about his gates?
"Yeah, he should." But Guy seems ready to screw up to them in base though.
Well, even if he like is squaring up to them in base, it's not like he can't use the gates.
Yeah, good point.
So
But
I'm trying to just think what he's. I know he kicks an attack from Kisame. He kicks an attack away, but I'm like I don't remember him really doing anything. I don't think he really does anything.
good point.
But
We should.
like, go on.
I still think he should scale above like Zabuza from part one.
No, I
Kabuto.
definitely think he does. I'm just trying to think of a good example to use that makes it evident. I'm like, what is okay? Freak. I know base guy has done stuff in freaking in base in Shippuden. I know he should have done some good stuff. Uh,
No, I remember something. In that part one, he kicked Jiraiya in the face and hurt Jiraiya a lot.
he did.
Yeah. And Jiraiya was still thinking since Itachi and Kisame just ran away, so he should still be on guard just in case they could have attacked him again.
Okay. Like
So
that could be a solid example, like base Sonin right there. Like should scale above Kakashi. Like yeah, it's like if he scales above Kakashi,
I feel like for them to be equals, Guy, as I'm pretty sure Kakashi with his base Sharingan isn't equal to base Guy.
yeah,
So like Guy has to be physically stronger and faster than Kakashi for
yeah,
that to
that
be
is a good point. Because if he's not, he's just gonna die. Like to Kakashi, he has to have better stats. Yeah, like, and we know like also that like who was it that got Lee got obliterated by the freak by sound, bro. So I'm like. It it's gassing it up. It's gassing it up. All right. Oof. Okay, we've gone
Above
too far.
lightning to probably
You
many
know,
times
Dallas
over if you
and
think while in rage you should be able to take down the likes of a much younger Kakashi who did just that to get the lightning cutter name to begin with. Even scaling to a 30% Sanin, Orochimaru is confident at full power he can take down Hiruzen, who scales above the 4th Raikage and all the Kage in part 1, who can lariat at light speed while suppressed is also telling, especially since the lariat is an ability that apparently you have to move at light speed to perform even back in the day.
It's no. What you need to do is you have to move at the same like speed and the same strength. That's what you do for like the lariat.
I'm pretty sure
But
like the Lariat's base speed should be light, depicting how it's talked about, or near light. And then it exceeds that to
base
start.
speed being light, because it's like because it's like the statement says it's nearing light speed, so I'm like, it's not light speed, and I'm like, if it's the case that it's nearing light speed, the Raikage trained, like the Raikage trained, because he was weaker than Joni Minato, and then
Yeah,
afterwards he's
reach that.
like, hmm?
Then he reached that level after training.
Yeah, so I'm like, if it was like already light speed, it's just like how is he just now nearing light speed or just getting to light speed if we know he's gotten stronger since he was weaker than Joni Minato before. So I'm like, you feel me? Feel what I'm
You think
saying?
he's nearing the higher end of the light spectrum, dude? That's what it means.
The higher end of the light spectrum.
Especially since the Lariat is an ability that apparently you have to move at light speed to perform even back in the day. Overall, though, I still think him facing off in the 21st Budokai would probably be interesting, although Roshi would, let's be honest, he would easily punk him out if he was bloodlusted at full power at the very maximum. Dude, you kind of erased the moon from reality. But him versus 21st Budokai Goku would be an interesting matchup at the very least. You have to remember, Roshi at full power is
They're the
actually
same
stronger
guy.
than Goku, even as an Uzaru, which many
Yeah, that
people
is
don't
true.
realize is Goku times 10. And even then, Roshi was implied to be able to defeat him and then destroy the moon. So Roshi's a bit of an outlier there. And of course, this isn't Uzaru Goku we're talking about. What do you guys think, though? I mean, you got to remember that Goku just started scaring Roshi around the Red Ribbon Army invasion, where he wasn't totally sure if he could replicate what Goku was doing versus Mercenary Tao and then the Red Ribbon base. And 22nd Budokai is where he kind of feels like he's able to pass the torch a bit more. He tries to guide the next generation into like taking the throne per se. And personally, I just can't see Naruto ever competing even remotely to a dude that can just straight up nuke the moon on a whim, unless you take that Giga Wank Ninetales argument where he might just be infinite powered and universal. But hey, some people do. But maybe
Nah,
Naruto's
he
also just
definitely
too
not, dog.
fast, even without that power interpretation. Or maybe he'd grab his tail while being faster and learn his weakness.
Bro, I don't know why you didn't mention the fact that Goku, like not Goku, but was it Tien? He does the solar flare.
Yeah,
Goku gets glasses, puts them on before the solar flare even gets to him. Like, what are you talking about?
like Goku's like a couple times faster than light very easily with that or not. Like, how fast would that be? Like 4 or 5 times faster than light, or would it get into the tens of times?
Honestly, like it probably would get into the tens of times. So it's like Goku ran there, ran back, and then put the glasses on. In the time it took the light just to get to him. So I'm like, he at least like if we're being for he at least like traveled like 4 times the distance, bro. I'm like, if we're being real.
Yeah.
What's his tail, even accidentally, as he is a pretty playful fighter and has a bunch of clones that would probably grab it eventually. And around this time,
He just
Goku
gets
still
a blitz,
hasn't
dude.
mastered his tail
Yeah.
weakness, so who knows? Maybe
Like
that is
I
something
was
that would
thinking
happen,
about this
especially
for a
if you don't
while,
think that.
and I don't even think Naruto gets to like relativistic, even with the best interpretation in part one.
No, there are some lightspeed jutsus. Like Itachi has like a lightspeed jutsu.
But does not
Hako has a lightspeed
scale.
jutsu. Hmm?
Yeah, but can Naruto scale to either of them logically? Since Naruto, when he
No,
fights,
no, no. Like I'm not talking about Naruto scaling. Dude, I'm just talking about people in part one having lightspeed.
oh no, I'm
Thanks.
here specifically talking about like part one Naruto.
Oh, if you
Like,
mean like Naruto specifically, I don't think he does get to lightspeed, even like the most charitable interpretation.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying not even to relativistic. Even I think he's like maybe a couple times faster than lightning at best.
Yeah. Like I think that's like the best you could give him. Like if we're being for real.
Yeah. So
But
he's beyond blitz. Even Goku just light speed, Naruto would be frozen in time.
man, yeah, it would be a raps for that man. It's not even funny, like how bad it would be. But let's continue.
Goku even
Yeah.
reaches lightning level until the 23rd Budokai, and you kind of ignore the laser beam gun arguments for the 22nd. But that's
But
all
Oh,
there is
what
really to say for
about
Naruto.
solar flare?
this literally.
Ichigo continues.
All right, boys. All right,
Oh no,
boys.
you're getting to the really painful part.
Let's see.
Kurisaki's journey on chapter 220 lands him around his first battle against Grimmjow, a bit after his battle against Byakuya in the Soul Society arc. It is also the arc he really tames his Hollow Mask and even turns into a Hollow Ichigo that faces off against a strong Wizard named Love. So I'm just going to be straight up honest, Ichigo is so chaotic in terms of his scaling chains you can go with that this series shouldn't even be called Bleach, it should probably be called Wank. Now the more
Terrible joke.
More grounded interpretations of early Ichigo's scaling, especially around the Soul Society arc, tend to be centered around Hitsugaya's Bankai and its ability to control the weather, and that Ichigo should scale quite a bit above it, doing what Soifon considers the impossible feat of stopping the power of 1,000,000 Zanpakutos on Sokyoku Hill, and the way Hitsugaya tends to rank up in the scaling chain until he trains quite a bit leading up to his battle against Haribel in the fake Karakura town arc. Even then, still being outranked by quite a few people. So, sort of nodding that stopping the Sokyoku, even in its initial 1,000,000 power phase, especially with just a Shikai, is more impressive than what Hitsugaya does with his Bankai. And I'll also get more into that 1,000,000 part later, and Hitsugaya's Bankai, Kyorinmaru, essentially creates massive storm clouds and sort of controls the weather, with it also being stated to be the strongest ice type Zanpakuto, even in the Soul Society arc. Basically, these calculations of it work in a way that calculates how much energy is required to actually vacuum in a storm or generate a storm with that much energy and size, with many people calculating this storm that appears in just 2 seconds using the anime to require over 2.8 to 10 to the 18 joules, which, if y'all aren't Giga nerds or don't know a lot about joules, is basically more than the amount of energy it would take to annihilate a mountain. Considering Ichigo probably outscales early Hitsugaya by this point, even folding Gen Ryusai's vice captain with literally his bare hands, and we saw what that guy was capable of in the anime, Ichigo should probably be in this storm's range, and mountain range as well. And for those that aren't totally interested in Bleach, a little fun fact for you guys, or even a lesson here, is to look at your favorite series that may seem weak but generates massive storms. Think of, just off the dome, maybe like Sekiro and how its combatants like Genichiro and Ishin can summon these massive storms instantly that engulf the horizon, or All Might easily blowing one away with a punch, or etc. It doesn't just apply to Bleach, so have fun with that knowledge. But these storm ranges alongside the first data book, Bleach Unmasked 1, stating he moves as fast as lightning to attack Byakuya.
That's this
Oh my God, bro, I
this
knew he was
this
gonna do
nigga
that,
right here, bro.
bro,
Oh
Steph,
my
bro.
god, bro.
Hey, dude,
Oh my
I knew he'd see that.
god, bro. This okay. Let's. Why don't we read what the scan actually says? So okay. So we have in the box godlike speed, fastest Bonkai, fighting speed, volume 19 to uh, volume 19, chapter 163. Like lightning. This doesn't say at the speed of lightning. This doesn't say lightning speed. It doesn't say anything of the sort. It says like lightning. Hold up. You know what? Let's look up that like lightning death.
Dude,
What
dude,
like lightning meaning? Very quickly. One Google search deep. Oh my. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Because right now, this man's struggling. This
While
man's struggling.
suppressed, by the way, usually have people with a very lowballed and grounded interpretation of Ichigo, so probably stronger than Part 1 Naruto, but weaker than Gamabunta, and sort of around that Red Ribbon Army Goku range still, depending on how much you think Goku scales to Roshi's full power, give or take. Unless you think that destroying mountains and beyond is actually above Bijou level, which some people do argue, as Madara, when he blew away mountains just by swinging his sword, and the Kage were gasping in disbelief, and how no one could really believe the Bijou were just vaporizing mountains and were just totally shocked and all that. But I've seen all those arguments before. Of course, they are definitely above the mountain range level. Due to the massive consistency of feats above that, you can count sort of like Madara's Tengai Shinsei and how Inoki and Gaara kind of caught it. But if you do, then Ichigo would probably be above Gamabunta and Part 1 Naruto, but that's only if you take that honestly pretty grounded interpretation of Ichigo's scaling, and that's just the Soul Society. But something seriously important happens almost exactly on Chapter 220, and remember how I said this series should be called Wank? Well, buckle up. Chapter 220 is when Ichigo is mastering his holification with the Visors after facing off against a spotted number 6 Grimmjow for the first
Is this seriously all the fucking skill? Okay, hold up.
time, and during his first encounter with Grimmjow, he actually manages to damage him a bit with his Getsuga, while Grimmjow underestimates him a bit. However, it should be noted that Grimmjow actually still found the power that damaged him to still be somewhat worthy and memorable and wants to face it again later. Grimmjow is the same guy who even in base can fire off an attack that all Espada are restricted from using within Las Noches, called the Gran Racero, a blast that can potentially destroy Las Noches and even tear and distort space. Las Noches is so huge that it takes days even for beings that are possibly hypersonic to travel, and even if you just equate days to just the speed
Motherfucker said possibly hypersonic.
of an average human walking, this would make
Yeah.
Las Noches even larger than Sacramento to Los Angeles, California in our real world, or over 341 kilometers, with that only being the radius, hence it being what it takes to reach it, making Las Noches' diameter over 682 kilometers and its circumference 2,100 square kilometers, with highballs reaching up to around 3,000. If you think it takes 3 days of walking to reach it as a normal human, let alone these superhuman death gods. So this is a very fair lowball of its size. 2,100 to almost 3,100 square kilometers would make it around a bit smaller, but very close to Rhode Island, USA. This is important as the Gran Racero of any Espada is forbidden, as it can destroy all of Las Noches, and even though Ichigo doesn't scale exactly to Grimmjow at this point, it's sort of similar to Gamabunta, still scaling enough to say the Bijou to be able to fight or even hinder them even remotely being impressive. Remember, a wall-level dude can't really budge a guy that can nuke Rhode Island. Common sense. Destroying Rhode Island, or Las Noches in this case, would require in many calcs to be up to 10 to the 21 joules of energy, which would be around enough to destroy a large island if you think you could pulverize it, and up to 10 to the 24 joules of energy, which is around enough to destroy some countries condensed in a small area if you could utterly just vaporize it. Ichigo, like Gamabunta to the Bijou, would of course be a bit weaker than Grimmjow's Gran Racero, possibly 10s to even over 100 times, but being 100 times, give or take, or whatever, weaker than a guy who can maybe vaporize Rhode Island is still pretty good. But Ichigo still has more. In 220, when he's mastering his holification, he does in fact face off against a Visor named Love. In his holo form, he goes on a rampage and is stated that Love has to holify, or else Ichigo will straight up basically kill him with his one attack. Love is the same guy who faces
That's not what that said, but okay.
off against an arguably mentally nerfed Primera Espada.
There's no, dude. These two characters aren't the same. Love trains. Like this chain doesn't work. But okay, go on. Same with Grimjaw. I'll just mention it now so we don't get like too much. I'm gonna go over this later, but more so later. But okay,
Dude, base
Grimjow
Grim.
gets stronger, dude. Like he's not the same, dude.
Yeah.
Like actual ludicrous.
But one thing I want to say, Noons, is even if you go by his logic, it can't function in the premise since even when Grimjow only has one arm, he's still stronger than Bankai Holification Ichigo. He's able to react multiple times to that power and speed. Then he gets his arm back, so there's no way Ichigo, when he first fights Grimjow, should even remotely scale.
I get your point, but I'm also like, Grimjow already could destroy Las Noches. Uh, and he gets stronger alongside Ichigo, like all the Espada get stronger, they train. So I'm like, he doesn't scale to that Grimjaw that's in the Ironica arc, which he's trying to do internally. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying, but Ichigo would be able to like arguably nuke Las Noches, um, even like at this point. Regardless, though, like he does not scale to Arankar. Like I said Arankar, but Las Noches Grimjaw. Like when he fights him, like those two are two entirely different demons.
Love is the same guy who faces off against an arguably mentally nerfed Primera Espada named Stark. And however Stark still considers Love a strong opponent, that he will have to put some effort into it and even sacrifices pieces of his own soul to actually face him. Albeit Love is not only holified, but also using Shikai and so forth. which Love actually survives many explosions of. Stark being a Espada #1 means that even him transforming can possibly destroy Las Noches, let alone his maximum attack potency. Now this isn't to say Ichigo is Primera Espada level. We clearly see him get and struggle with Espada #6, let alone the Primera, or anything like that, but it further shows that Ichigo is probably a bit beyond that Hitogaya calc earlier. It's even worse if you think that Stark is above second release Ukiura, but that is heavily debatable.
Yeah.
You know,
But if you think that Aizen ranked the Espada even with that second release in mind, then Stark might be able to face off against a guy who was originally supposed to fight Vasto Lord Ichigo a bit before getting annihilated, who is a being who may
what is this saying? Hold
fight.
up. These are
Wait.
theories that a later arc, such as the Yonka arc, is actually referred to some, which is why it seems less impressive. How serious Amp Monster unleashing boss and when he badge is destroyed. The badge isn't destroyed. Um, well, like this badge argument's actually ass.
Vasto Lord Ichigo a bit before getting annihilated, who is a being who
Like
is
a
supposed
lot
to
of people
fight
even take this
Vasto.
out of context, dude. Like let's read what this says. It's monitoring control. They've been able to control your spiritual pressure. Okay, how? Like, what is it in actual application? Don't you find it was strange? A spiritual pressure of yours that would sometimes go out of control while you're a soul reaper had no impact when you were a human. So what this is talking about is when he is a human, it not going out of control. Like this is actually just like this badge argument that like Clyde made is literally just taking things out of context. Like it literally makes it tells you the application. Like
Yeah.
this is what happens when you take your information from Clyde,
I
dude.
think
You're
it's
like,
been
oh,
off.
it's heavily debatable that like Ukiura is weaker than Stark. Nigga, the guidebook says that they're ranked off power. Guess who's #1? Stark.
Dude, like I was
What
trying to
a
think.
let me say this as well. There is no implication anywhere in this series that implies that Ukiura is stronger than Hollybell, Baragon, Stark, or Yami. If he was truly the strongest spotter, right? Why didn't Kubo comment on it in the guides? Why is it in no guides? Why didn't Kubo like say it in the novels? There's multiple novels after this. The Espada
Yeah.
are mentioned as well. Why wasn't Ukiura mentioned? Why wasn't that mentioned?
Noons. Want to know what makes this even worse? In the actual anime and manga, Stark Perception blitzes a Kenpachi which can react to Resurrection Noitora. Resurrection Noitora is comparable to Resurrection Ukiura.
That's true. That's true. That does happen.
Yeah, and basically he teleports so fast but where Kenpachi can't even get close to him. So base Stark is stronger than Resurrection Ukiura.
That's kind of
And,
I don't think I agree that Noid
and
Tora
not to
scales to
mention,
Resurrection Ukiura. Like,
Wait,
I don't
why
know about
not?
that one, cheat.
There's like weren't they relative base to base? Since they
Ukiura and Grimja, like Noid Tora, no.
I
Unless the
remember
line of scaling you're using is like the base Ukiura, like before he gets out of Kaji Nagashon. If you mean
I
that one, sure, like you can make that argument. Like but that's like before he even gets out of like Kaji Nagashon.
I
okay.
will I will agree with you because you said that when it comes to Okiura like being the strongest, you said why is there no like narrative information in guide, data book, anime, manga, any video games, any like Brave Souls, everything?
Oh
Why is
yeah,
there
that
nothing
that
like
is
that?
also order. Now that you've mentioned Brave Souls, let me show something. Hold up. Let's all the boys. Let me change the screen real quick.
Yeah, because nothing says
I
that
have
he's the
something
strongest.
funny. Hold up. I'm gonna show y'all something. I'm gonna
Nothing
show y'all
says that
something.
Okiura is the strongest. Nothing says that. And no material at Bleach at all. Nothing says that he's the strongest.
Let's go.
No one
Thirst.
needs if you want to be the strongest.
It's just basically like headcanon like put into the series that was not there in the first place.
Deadass.
Oh man, wanna know
There
what?
it is. All right. Let's look. Let's look at what this scan says. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But it's not what I was talking about. What I want to see is your second more powerful sword release. Look at my boy Gimi Chimaru knowing about Segunda. Oh my god. Look at my boy.
News, let's go. Ukiora, no Ukiora. Gene smarter than Aizen. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm like, bruh. Oh my god, I'm just like, bro, there is zero implication anywhere in this story.
It's
None.
like because the thing with Kubo is that when he clarifies something, he'll basically say like this guy is beyond this, or he'll basically give you like information of what something means. But it's like he doesn't do that with Ulquior's second release. So why would you believe that he's the strongest?
Like it's so funny because it's just like no interview, no
Right.
guide,
Like if someone
no
asked him a question like,
movie. Like it wasn't much percent no Hellverse. There ain't
yeah,
no light novel, no game. Like we have all of these materials. I just named off five. How is it in five different materials where we have a lot of content? Like, let's be for real, there is a lot of content in these things that I just mentioned. There's
yes.
there's no allusion to Ukiora, but actually, hold up. Let's get the statement. Let's get the guidebook
But if you
statement. But there's multiple saying the Espada are ranked off their power. There's multiple saying blatantly that our boy is freaking stronger.
It,
Interesting. Interesting.
it's just like when you look at it, it's like Kubo is the guy that will touch upon something that people may not know about. But it's like he's like, oh, the Ulquiorra thing, fuck it, because I know he's weaker than all of them, so I'm not gonna even touch upon it.
No, yeah, it's just so
bit
bad,
before
bro.
getting
It's
annihilated,
bad.
who is a being who may be a threat to the entire world. I wouldn't personally go that route, so I'm not even going to detail, but you'd be surprised what people will say. Shinji also
What
states that
people will
Ichigo's
say,
spiritual
he says.
pressure can be felt around the world even before he did his holification training. Finally, Ichigo gets a massive scaling chain with the Sokyoku I mentioned earlier. The Sokyoku in Lord Aizen's letter to Momo says that it is capable of destroying the
Weird
entire
editing
Soul
there.
Society. The Sokyoku usually outputs around 1 million Zanpakuto's worth of power to execute a criminal, but can output several dozens more if needed. Several meaning 3, and dozens meaning 12, meaning it can output.
No, it does not. Um, but okay. But dude, where is it that it says? It literally says like it increases its power. Furthermore, when used like to execute a Reaper, like
Dozens
several
more if
dozen times,
needed.
dude.
Higher Soul Goku
Yeah, yeah. Its power can momentarily increase several
and Lord
dozens of times.
Aizokyo criminal meaning 12, meaning it can output probably over 36 million Zanpakuto's worth of power, which is apparently something Aizen uses to convince Momo and possibly even Hitsugaya is capable of destroying the Soul Society. Or if you think that this 36 multiplication is what allows it to reach 1 million, which makes this even crazier. The data book Unmasked 1 says that Ichigo doesn't face this 36 million version, but he does, however, and is confirmed to over.
It has the power of one. That's not what it says. It has the power of 1 million. Look, why don't we read it? Has the direct power of 1 million sound plateau. What do you mean?
Ichigo
Like, has the power of 1 million. What are you talking about? Like that. It's literally just repeating what this said right here. Like that's, and we know for a fact that's not true as well. Because what happens when Ichigo like swings his sword and then like blows it up? He literally just blows it up. Like he blows up the scaffold, which is just as strong. So no, I don't know why you would bring that up. Like to try and downplay it. No. Ichigo literally blew it up.
our 1 million Zanpakuto's worth of strength, and this is also confirmed by Soifon. Now, it is only stated in a
That is no. That's not what they're saying.
manipulative letter by Aizen that it can do this, but it is convincing the people that do know about it. With Hitsugaya, after reading the letter, only questioning Aizen telling Momo to attack him as strange, not the fact that this Sokyoku could destroy the Soul Society. The Soul Society in Databook 1 is a parallel to Earth, and
Not parallel to Earth, world of the living.
compared to our real world may actually be a bit bigger if you go down certain scaling lines and certain things that happen. It can go all the way to some even thinking it's infinitely sized using the canon movie Memories of Nobody, where a dimension that is comprised of infinite souls called blanks are going to combine
Wow, he actually brought up it being infinite.
and overlap and distort the Soul Society, causing imbalances. Yet the Soul Society is still considered bigger than it, despite holding infinite
Wow!
souls. There are also some things that say Hueco Mundo has infinite sand, and these things are possibly larger than a possibly infinite Mukin, or the Black Realm that Kenpachi faces off against Unohana in a very famous new anime fight. So if Ichigo can even contend with a fraction, or even 1/36th of the Sokyoku that can destroy this realm, it has pretty heavy connotations. Personally, I think infinite usually means very great, and I apply that to any fiction I'm talking about. And with the Mukin, there are some statements that it fools you into thinking.
Let's read this statement, cause it looks like people are using them. What was it? Computer translators that don't actually speak the language. So why don't we get our boy? Why don't we get our boy Femboy and see what it says? What does it say? Okay. Disconnected from the Soul Society. Hold on, let me. Does it show? Like, does it show the original? All right, this is the kanji right here. Like, as you can see, this is the kanji, like right here. So
Yeah.
why don't we read it? What Femboy has translated for us. Okay. Can I go down? Okay, yeah. Illusions, finds facts. Okay. Disconnected from the Soul Society, this is a never-ending void, a vastness that expands for infinity, resulting in one's mind falling prey to hallucinations due to its nature of being closed off, for such is Muken, the realm. Muken, Mugen, no here, whatever, expand endlessly to infinitely spread out. This is to mean illusion, mindfuck, and vastness. Like, this is literally like, I'm pretty sure you've got this off of Twitter. And the person that used this like an AI translator or something, because that's not what it says. So I'm very disappointed in you, Seth, for just using something you just got off of Twitter apparently to like say this. Like, you're actually just spreading misinformation. It's crazy.
It's infinitely sized in data books, but even just downplaying the Soul Society to just being
Wait, why
Earth
can't I
sized,
hear it now?
1/30
Oh, my bad. Hold on, let me fix it. I forgot to change it back. I got you.
Okay. I was so confused for a second. I thought something was going on with my computer, man.
about
No,
it.
no, okay.
And with the Mukin, there are some statements that it fools you into thinking it's infinitely sized in data books, but even just downplaying the Soul Society to just being Earth-sized, 1/36th of that would put the Sokyoku, while even suppressed, to have enough energy to destroy a moon to even a small planet, with it taking 10 to the 32 joules of energy to overpower the GBE, or the gravitational binding energy of Earth, to it taking 10 to the 29 joules to overpower the moons, or up to 10 to the 30, and up to almost 1/3 using his fake Bonkai if you think it gave him a 10 times multiplier, as hinted at by Yoruichi's statement of 5 to 10 times multiplication being what she's aiming for with this transformation, and possibly even higher with this hollow
It's not a fake
mask
Bankai,
that
by
can
the way.
also
Stop saying
amplify his
that.
power to a similar
This is
degree
Quincy
as
Dame Bankai.
Resurrection in the Aranka arc, which is like another Bankai increase as stated by Urahara during the war. Then Ichigo, while really blanked, I just want to make that clear, I do believe that this is very high interpretations.
Because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's why. The reason you think this, Seth, is because you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Might straight
I
up be able to
literally left
destroy a
the fucking
planet and then some,
paragraph of
even
the
by
video
chapter
code.
220, up to a universe if you think it's infinite in size. Even in Memories of Nobody, a character named Senna is able to move away the Soul Society in the living world, and also shows planet manipulation scale sorts of feats, with some scaling the manipulation of these souls and the creation of a dimension to require as much energy as it would take to destroy a small star. And while Ichigo doesn't necessarily scale fully to it, it's crazy that, the Soul Society might be larger than this. While I
You're about
personally would
to.
go more with that grounded, weaker than Gran Racero scaling and more of the Rhode Island angle, that is possible.
Okay, so let's go over this and how much fucking dumb shit is it. And like the scans that he even brought himself that fucking just debunk his ass. Like it's just really weird. All right, like we went over like a few of these, whatever. Why don't we talk about? Okay, let's talk about Lost Noches real quick. So I don't know why the fuck this man's using the outside like space of Lost Noches to scale it. So where is it? Hold I'll just be since for this thing we're not gonna like be using audio. I'll just be like I'll change this screen so all of you can see what I'm like talking about. All right. Where is Stellar Level Espada? We just need Stellar Level Espada real quick. Spiritual with you, bro. Power. Uni So Goku, Uni Bleach Heart Dimensions. Remember, there it is, right here. So why don't we look at some stuff, right? Let's scroll up. Let's scroll up. Let's scroll up. Firstly, Grand Ray Zero can blow up the sun. Why don't we read it? That's not just any normal Zero, I feel. Are they trying to destroy the sun or something? Like, dog. Okay, you really don't get more clear than that. Well, let's read this. Where does it say? He can repair himself as many times as he wants, as long as it is in a location where the sun does not shine. There's a sun in Los Noches. Why don't we read this? Don't make me laugh. We can't use our power in sunlight. That's right, doesn't make sense. He's not kind. Aizen rules everywhere that light shines. Aizen created a blue sky inside the dome that covers Las Noches. Aizen rules everywhere that light shines. You see my iron will? Okay, whatever. It was that light outside. Literally, like, in saying sunlight again. Like, come on, dude. Keeps on saying sunlight. Oh, again, sunlight. You know where sunlight comes from? It comes from a sun. What? What is this? Blue skies? But how? Did you hear what we said? Alright, that's the original one. Alright. This is unmasked right here. Oh, he can manifest as many times as he wants as long as it's not in the light of day. So let me address this right here. Holly calling it a fake sun. Let's see what it says in context though. Okay. No matter what, please become the ruler of... Okay, here it is. A fake sun cannot illuminate this darkness. The blue sky created by Aizen stretches above them. Hueco Mundo has darkness, and only needs a peaceful darkness. Hollybo slowly blinked and started walking towards the center of Las Noches. But hold up. At first it said she lowered her head and said, Bargon is dead, Aizen is dead. The only one fit to become ruler of Hueco Mundo is now Haribel-sama. This is said by Sense. Apache agrees, and then they're asking her to become the ruler of Hueco Mundo. Then she says it doesn't need a ruler, and says a fake sun cannot illuminate this darkness. What it's talking about is that Aizen's influence cannot now, like, take them out of the darkness. Are we now going to say that, like, Las Noches itself literally isn't a castle because it's called an illusionary castle? So it's a
Yeah.
fake castle? Like, it literally just is not what she's saying. Like, a fake sun cannot illuminate this darkness. Well, if we're just taking this hyper literally, it quite literally can. Like, if we're taking this hyper literally, it quite literally can. So it doesn't. This statement, if you're taking this hyper literally, it literally does not make sense. Literally. But the blue sky created by Aizen stretched above them. Hueco Mundo has darkness and only needs a peaceful darkness. Why is she referencing a quote peaceful darkness if what she's talking about is that this sun, this physical structure, cannot illuminate the darkness? Why do you think this is even literal? Like, how, in what context does this make sense? Let's
Yeah.
say it's artificial, right? How does it being bright in Hueco Mundo mean that it has a leader? Unless you're referring to that light as what Aizen created in Aizen's influence. Because if the influence isn't what you're talking about, how does it have any correlation to becoming a ruler? How does it have any correlation to being a ruler at all? It
Okay.
wouldn't. So it's like, if what we're talking about in context talks about being a ruler, if I have a flashlight and it has artificial light, and I'm going outside, like in the middle of the night, and I flash my flashlight, like, does that seem like it makes any sort of sense to what Hollybell is talking about right now? For her being the ruler of Pueco Mundo. Oh, it's because I can't make light. Like, literally, like, make light. That's why I can't be the ruler of Pueco Mundo. Like, it doesn't make any logical sense if you take this literally. And you'd be taking that instead of Kubo's guidebooks, so I find that weird.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's go down. Let's talk about the fact that Bargon literally says that, where is it? Plants, the moons, and the stars, and the sun, they're all insignificantly small. My power is the one absolute things in this world. He's literally shitting on stars. Verbatim. Pretty consistent because they can nuke Las Noches, which has a star.
Yeah.
Las Noches has its own atmosphere. Like, it's literally a new realm. Chad says it's sunlight. But where's the ceiling? Outside, it's always dark and the moon never moves. So where's the sunlight coming from? Cracks in the... Oh, let's also look at this. You see how cracks in the dimensions don't interact with space itself?
Yeah.
Since you see how the sky is like continuously going,
Yeah.
even besides this. Let's look at the cracks in Hueco Mundo, or Las Noches, not Hueco Mundo. Wow! Would you look at that? They don't interact with the space. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, let's also mention the fact that Cerro Oscura, something that just it causes this. It doesn't create a hole in Las Noches. This big old thing right here, it looks like it will cause a hole, no? Like, this is the natural slope of it, but there's a very steep incline. Where's the hole? Because if we look at the shots, this is from Full Hollow Ichigo. He he uh he booms it, right? Oh, let's go down. He booms it, but there's only these. This is what it causes. This is Ukiura's Zero Oscura's hitting. You see, like this, like the tiny effect with like the lines. That's it hitting. So I'm like, um, how? In what way? In what way, dude? It doesn't create a hole. It quite literally does not create a hole. These are the only two holes in the canopy. There's more than two holes made by these characters. Ukiura's hole. So I'm like,
But isn't that a ceiling that we've seen in?
isn't that a ceiling that we see? Hold up. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it actually. Oh my god, you're not gonna be able to hear it, because I have it on screen, but I'll just play the audio on my phone while I play this. Uh, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna play it like for y'all. Duh.
Hmm.
Notice that sound, huh? So let me play it for y'all, like on the in the VC. Okay, hold up. So listen to this. Were you
Oh,
able
I
to hear
already.
it?
Um, I've seen this clip before that you posted, Dunes. I know that's like the Garganta.
Yeah. Exact same sound effect. Ukiura literally opened the Garganta to leave Las Noches. Here is you seeing the star, like again. Like I'm harping on this so much because I'm like, this is so fucking blatant. Look right here. You see the sun. You
Yeah.
see it so many times. But all right, let's get into the fact that Las Noches is actually infinite. So Las Noches is called a celestial vault right here. Why don't we read it? At the exit of the corridor stretches a blue sky while remaining puzzled by this celestial vault. Hmm. What is a celestial vault? Well, we have it right here for y'all. So one can ask the question about the length and its radius, and more intrinsically what lies beyond it. It became thinking of it as an actual sphere. It divided infinity, an unbounded infinite one. Hold up. Three-dimensional space in a finite part, and an unbounded infinite one. Celestial vaults are infinite. So I'm like, pretty fucking blatantly. They'd be at least star, but actually fucking universal. Let's talk about Memories of Nobody. Because he brought it up for some reason, but he didn't talk about it like that. Senna is the one who creates the Valley of the Screams. Senna is the one who creates it. It is said they merge into one entity and return to the human world, or the real world. That's Senna. Senna literally does infinite attacks. We've confirmed countless spiritual explosions in the Precipice world. Senna is weaker than Ichigo. You mention the movie, but you don't mention the fact that it literally shows that they are universal, lowballing. You also don't bring up the fact that in this movie, it's stated that the Dawn Guy's a hyperspace. Very weird. Very weird. But let's go on to what he says about where is it? Talked about this a little bit. Uh okay. Where did he bring up the scan
Considered
of like
where some even figure if you go parallel. So reading the letter, it also says how everybody lost Paktos says to overrated people
I'm trying
to
to find where
attack
he
in data book
brings up
one is
the
it's comprised of the causing it. Also
What
some
skin are you
things that
looking for,
say
Dunes?
Waco
the one where
Mundo,
he literally
and
shows
these
can't
things are
fear your own
possibly
world
larger
saying that they aren't
than a
planets.
possibly infinite Mukin, or the Black Realm that can Pachi contend with a land or
Let me
horizon
okay, yeah, there it was.
world
Hold
may
up.
actually go all the way to some even thinking it's infinitely sized using the canon movie and may actually be a
Okay,
bit bigger if you go down certain.
okay. Why don't we read it? If the world of the living and the soul society could be likened to planets. If you have any understanding of the English language, this means that they are not planets. So calling the soul society and the human world planets is incorrect.
Man, Bleach fans can't understand English and can't read. What can they understand, Dunes? It's a real question.
Yeah. So let me not also mention the bounce. Like I'm since it's only talk, I'm not gonna mention the bounce. I'm not gonna mention Armor guy. I'm not gonna mention the Red guy because that's even further. But I'm just like you out here blatantly capped. You know, like
Bring up the Bound arc, it instantly gets them to Universal Plus.
yeah, it's like really bad. And I'm like, I don't know why. Like I don't know why he's like, bro, this is wank. But I'm like, motherfucker, there's like legitimately 100 different fucking feats. Unironically, like I say feats, like feat statements, all that stuff. There's 100 different ones. I can send you a picture of 100 different things saying it. At that point, and I'm talking about it being even like higher than universal. It gets to the point at like at what point is it that you're just like you're in denial? At what point? At what point are you just like you choose to not educate yourself? Like if
Dude,
you
I
want
think
to talk about this series, put in the time. It's not
yeah,
that
but
hard.
even using the bare absolute minimum, like Law Ball, Soul Society arc could be like multi-planetary to star level.
Yeah. But I'm like when we're being so for real and we realize I'm like, wow, wait a minute, hold up. So what you're telling me, you says, is this thing can nuke a universe, something bigger than infinity, something bigger than the hyperspace. But what you're telling me is, this person that's able to do this in their second arc, it's wank that they're universal. Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here.
By chapter 220 of One Piece, we find ourselves right after Luffy finally takes down Crocodile.
Hold up, I'm gonna increase the speed because I'm like I'm really tired of fucking Seth and this nigga just being like actually just like this nigga just talking to talk
Yeah.
like dead ass like oh my god, he didn't talk about their speed besides saying lightning. I'm not
Dude,
mistaken on that, right? He only said lightning. He didn't bring up the Ceros. He didn't bring up the Quincy arrows. He didn't bring up Uryu outspeeding his shadow.
I'm pretty sure he brings it up later, but I could be misremembering.
He doesn't bring up Senna actually like nuking like and pushing these worlds apart. He doesn't oh,
Dude, but
he doesn't bring up Ichigo blocking Senbone Sakura.
he,
Like
here's the thing, Noons. Yes, the substitute Soul Reaper arc, Ichigo should body all of these characters, and if he actually paid attention, he'd know this.
I'm like he like even Ichigo like clashing with Shinji and it echoing throughout the world. That would at least be relativistic. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
At the end of
Like you're just not trying. Like if it can the Grand Race Zero, it can nuke Los Noches. It has a star at bare minimum. I've calced it out, dude. I've calced it out. It's like 300 times the speed of light. Like, dude, be so. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Alabasta. For those that have been patiently waiting for this, I hate to say it, but my boy Luffy is getting absolutely shit on. But I'll still go over what it looks like for those interested. The main two ways to scale Luffy's power by the point of chapter 220 is to scale into the buggy balls. And the buggy balls are special cannonballs that Buggy the Clown shoots from a cannon to sort of nuke small towns out of existence to assert dominance. These are pretty self-explanatory, but the most important line of scaling as Luffy, as do any other pirates that sail the seas, they get stronger on every adventure. And during this last one against Crocodile, his scaling gets a bit higher. And Crocodile's Devil Fruit, the Sand Fruit, gives him the ability to sap the moisture out of numerous things until he literally turns it into sand. Using this, he is capable of using his Desert Spada to destroy the Alabarna Royal Garden via desiccation, which is calculated being around needing anywhere from 10 to the 12 to 10 to the 14 joules of energy, which is enough to destroy towns, which fits in pretty well with the buggy balls being able to destroy small towns, and Luffy and Buggy scaling above those. There are other insane high balls of Crocodile, though, such as if you were draining the moisture from all of Alabasta and then more.
Come on, bro. I'm not
I have
trying
a
to.
question. Should this
What?
version of Luffy beat Part 1 Naruto?
Hold up. He's fighting Crocky. Part one Naruto.
I feel like this version of Luffy should win.
No, because it's like you have to realize like he's slower than lightning.
Oh.
Because in Sky Pia he fights an L. That's the arc he fights in L, and L is blitzing people with just based off the fact that he's a Logia and he's
Forms
lightning.
itself. Hence why when he's defeated against terrain in numerous places, using these higher
So I'm like, this man definitely like he's
ball
not
constellations,
winning,
talking about
bro.
sand and fruit may be able to affect the environment on a scale that require over 10 to 15, 10 to 16 joules of energy to perform as Alabasta Kingdom itself. It's probably a place of over 5 kilometers in diameter, as Crocodile wanted to create a bomb to destroy that area, and he may have to weather manipulate this entire area and then some to gain influence, possibly extending far outside of it. And this would put him more in the ranges of exerting enough energy to contend with forces that can destroy small cities to sometimes normal-sized cities. However, he himself can only exert that much energy with a very particular hacks that absorbs moisture. That is how much it would take to do so. And in terms of speed, we know Zoro during Whiskey Peak, which is almost 100 chapters before this, who Luffy, CL2 as they literally fight during this arc, which is actually one of the moments that made me start to get into One Piece, is able to completely vanish from the sight of many beyond human level bounty hunters almost instantly to beyond another person, which has been counted as needing a speed of around Mach 37, with there being a multitude of feats similar to this throughout the
This man used oh my god, bro, the death battles.
arcs of One Piece. But the highball Luffy, if you want to, you could say that he's on the verge of being almost as strong as he is in chapter 300-ish, give or take, and he has like vague strength gains after Alabasta at this point. It is a massive stretch though, and wouldn't work in an argument, but if you wanted to do it, it is pretty shortly after near around chapter 320, and while nerfed, Luffy is shown avoiding possible light speed attacks and then some, as I've been told, as I've only read up to 220. So it seems like One Piece gets a huge power up in the chapters after 220, unfortunately for this video. However, fortunately for all of us, I'd love to go into more of that in the future, as even in Skypiea, they go from Mach 37 to all the way to Mach 139 once again, very easily. But for now, that's all there is to really say. In conclusion, I personally have to go Goku, then Ichigo, then Naruto, then Luffy, with Ichigo possibly being the strongest, who are more charitable with that Sokyo crew line scaling and so on, and have Ichigo and sort of fodder-ish characters and Bleach able to avoid light beams like Imenos Grande's Nigashion's and Equate
Okay.
those to actual just normal light speed level attacks and phenomena they would scale dozens of times above easily in speed. As a fun little bonus and to give a little credit to Luffy, going by chapter 1 only, Luffy would probably be the strongest.
All right. You know what? I'll apologize, Seth. You mentioned a few of them. I'm not gonna let you slide for not bringing up that, but
Scaling to the bug,
I'll let you
and being
slide.
around
I'll
Mach
let you
5, using
slide.
avoiding many enhanced bullets, and Naruto would probably be the second strongest, jokingly saying he's Mach 5 later on, although probably not because of the Sound Ninja later being apparently too fast, and scaling above Sasuke's Fireball Jutsu I went over earlier. Then it'd probably go Goku, who launches Yamcha through a bunch of pillars like an artillery round, and then Ichigo, who's kind of struggling with like telephone pole level hollows. Not joking, by the way, well, not really struggling, but they don't really have any feats other than Chad slamming one over the head with a telephone pole. Unless you think Goku breaking the manga panel is just strong as fuck, which I guess. Anyways, thank you for watching, and subscribe if you want part 2. Do let me
This video was ass, dude.
Yeah, dude, did you see why I said worse than the Yami video?
This nigga's ass, bro. The fact, bro, is still uploaded with sponsor. The allegations, okay, given feats and given venom. It's multiversal in this. Okay, bro. Yeah, I really did not enjoy this. Like, I hate when Seth talks about Bleach because he just doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Dude, I hate when he talks about Naruto, says, holy shit, same thing there.
It's just really annoying. I'm not gonna lie. It's just really annoying. But
And dude, the fact is he should have just blatantly said, Goku is light speed. It's blatant at that point in time.
yeah, it's actually very blatant. Like it. So like bringing up the fact, okay, he dodges lasers, cool. Our boy also like he blitzes light.
He like
Like
blitz dodges lasers. There's
they blow up the moon in seconds, like at least being like relativistic. I'm just like, dude, it's
and by the
very easy.
isn't he using like Piccolo fight Goku too? Which is
Yeah,
fucking around planetary.
large planetary, dude. Like Piccolo blowing up that the moon was calc to large planetary, like planetary to large planetary.
That's not even Piccolo's strongest attack. That's like a basic attack that he uses well, well weighted.
Yeah, so it's just like I don't know, like Seth's supposed to be like this good scalar guy, but we've
Everyone,
seen consistently he is not. So
everyone wonders why I always said his Dragon Ball takes were shit.
yeah, this man's not good. Let's end this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing us suffer through this, but this was very
Yeah,
um
I wouldn't.
bad.
I wouldn't force my worst enemy to watch this video on loop.
It's just like okay. All right, bye guys.